Hi, and welcome. My name is Garen Daly, and this is another Boston Sci-Fi Presents podcast. Tonight, as we are approaching our 49th Boston Science Fiction Film Festival, we have a kickoff event called the Cyberpunk Sweethearts Ball, and I'm bringing in two people who are instrumental in making that happen. The first one is Jackie Kern, and the other is Sir Richard. And Jackie, in case you didn't know about it, is the person that created that intro video that we just saw. And Jackie, why don't you explain what that is?
We will have a very cyberpunk performance at the Cyberpunk Sweethearts Ball. Specifically, Technomancer will be helping us
That's
lead down.
that's
Technomancer, yes.
Technomancer, and and and,
Technomancer.
and what they're jugglers, or they look like they're more than just jugglers.
Yes, actually, it's a entire new wave of performance art. Is becoming very popular. It's related to fire spinning, and it's generally called flow arts. But in this case,
All
we've
right,
got
I'm sorry. You're gonna have to deal with my
flow arts.
decrepitude, and you call that slow art, SLOW,
Flow.
slow art.
Flow.
Oh,
F.
flow art. Wow, that makes so much better sense.
That makes more sense.
Why are you calling it slow? They look like they're moving
Flow.
fast.
Very
Flow
fast.
art. Yeah.
Well,
Um,
I'm just showing my decrepitude.
yeah. And
And
yeah, the
there-
LEDs, so
and
Technomancer.
Technomancer is actually going to be performing at the Cyberpunk Ball.
Yes, he will be there. He's gonna
It's part of the
help
thing.
make it something straight out of the future.
Okay,
I love it.
And Sir Richard, is your role in all of this Michigas?
Well, I will be providing the musical backdrop and also helping to master of ceremony things and keep things moving, and also, protect us from any kind of malfeasance that might occur. We're dipping into some pretty strong waters here with the
Do,
cyberpunk
do,
theme.
Sir Richard, do you want to talk about this now? Do you really, or do you want to wait a little bit and tease our audience and bring
I'm
them
just saying, I'm
along?
ready for anything. I'm ready for anything. That's why you all have me on board,
Last year,
because
there was that dialect takeover.
we. That's what
The
I'm
Daleks
saying.
took over.
hmm
So
I
we're
Let,
prepared.
let, let's hold off on any outside influences on our side. But I thought we should start off. Why cyberpunk, and why are we kicking off the 49th Boston Science Fiction Film Festival with a cyberpunk ball? It's on the 14th, so we know why it's the Sweethearts Ball. Hopefully, couples will come. But what is the motivation for doing a cyberpunk ball?
Hmm. What is the
Oh, I hit you with a tough
motivation
question there.
for
Wow.
doing the cyberpunk ball? Well, I think that we've got a great kickoff event. And when I think about a lot of my favorite sci-fis, they're always going to be cyberpunk movies. I also think there's been a big resurgence. We've got new TV shows like Uploaded, and some things like that are bringing the sitcominess to cyberpunk. So yeah, it's going to be really popular in the next few years.
I'm sorry, someone's texting me and I didn't turn off my thing, and I apologize. I thought I had turned this thing down. And of course, it's Suzanne Cromwell, who is our director of shorts programming, and we're going back and forth and settling some stuff up. So I apologize for that. I should know better. I'm allegedly a professional at this.
Well, part of living in the cyberpunk future is that we're always available 24/7.
That's probably true. I mean, when I first started diving into this, I looked up the definition of what cyberpunk was, and I love the definition that's simple and sweet, and that is high tech, low life. Can we agree that that's a good start to talk about cyberpunk?
Sure.
I think so. It's interesting because I was hooked on cyberpunk, in I think 85 or 86, and it
Oh,
had
so
been
you're what is known as an early adopter.
sort of like the all the parts of cyberpunk were there for a bunch of years before that, but that was when I read Neuromancer. And what I loved about Neuromancer was I was coming out of watching Alien, Star Wars movies that had everything dirtied down, right? Like the spaceship on Alien is filthy. The spaceships in Star Wars are all filthy, and this was kind of a continuation of that aesthetic, uh, but on Earth and in a kind of a Tokyo inspired neon landscape. And so that filthy low life part of it is definitely a huge part of the aesthetic and why I loved it in the first place. So I would say that's pretty fair. There's a lot of things going on in cyberpunk that one of the things I think that's a big part of it is it's it's not necessarily dystopian, but it ain't perfect.
Ah,
It is not streamlined. It is not gorgeous. It might have the sheen of gorgeousness. It's like Times Square in New York, right? Where it's like there's all of this light assaulting you, and but you know there's still crap on the sidewalk, and it's a lot of it is this sheen, and Cyberpunk kind of explores what's happening behind that sheen and around that sheen.
I
especially
would
the
say
William Gibson
when you're
stuff.
talking about that, it immediately reminds me of Blade Runner,
Sure,
and I think Blade Runner is a perfect example of
Their
what you're
background.
talking about. Yeah, it's in your
for real.
background there. But
Yeah,
let's take a look at a cyberpunk film that will be in our marathon this year, and that is The Matrix, which I believe
Ooh.
really kind of redefined what the cyberpunk aesthetic was. So here is a
yeah.
clip from The Matrix.
I always say best cyberpunk films, they always have Keanu Reeves in them every time.
Yeah, and it definitely sort of blew up that genre, made it something that everybody suddenly knew about.
Any metallic items you're carrying, keys, loose change.
Subtle, just very subtle.
Back up! Stand back up!
Jackie, you were talking about the columns and how they,
Ah, yes.
Become-
They have these smoking bullet holes in them. They're
yeah,
about to be torn apart by the bullets that these guys are bringing to the
there's a mod for the game Counter Strike that is that scene basically, and you go through that building and you can shoot it up, and when you shoot it, the columns all
I'll deteriorate.
yeah, will deteriorate. So the attention to detail is pretty good. I highly recommend it,
Cool.
and it'll run on many computers.
One of the things I did notice in that scene from The Matrix, which we just saw, was not only the guns and stuff, but the sound. The sound
yeah.
had that heavy metal clanking going on all the
Mhm.
time,
Mhm.
and I'm thinking that is part of the of what makes cyberpunk active tonally. Is those clunks? Is that something that you would agree with, Richard? I mean, you're the sound guy.
Yeah, so first off, when you guys told me that this was the theme for this year, I was so excited because it's definitely one of my foundational sci-fi imprints. And so I was really excited to think about what music fits that category. And I would say, like, there's not necessarily, at least none that I recognize, a genre that is just strictly cyberpunk, but there are elements from songs from different genres that fit the bill, which is one of the reasons I'm really excited about doing this. Is I'm kind of pulling stuff from different genres and stitching it all together. Um, the sound that you're talking about is absolutely present. Early industrial music was basically just people hitting stuff, like hitting metal against other metal, not using a conventional drum set, doing almost like musique concrète with sound design of there was a German band Einstürzend Neubauten that hit like shopping carriages and used shopping carriages with with mallets, and um, as that was in the 70s, early 80s. And as the 80s kind of progressed, that tech side of things became a bigger deal, and drum machines and samplers and sequencers and things that made it more computery sounding. So you got that fusion of the sound of mallets hitting metal with the more computery bleep
MIDI,
bloops and things like
yeah.
that. Yeah, and MIDI, exactly. And it was,
Theremin.
it was a sound of the future. Again, this goes back to Garen, what you were saying. The sound of the future, kind of mired in a very earthy kind of vibe, an industrial earthy kind of vibe. So what I'm going from here is, I don't want I never want to come in with a sort of a monolithic tone. I want to have a tonal shift. I want to have people have some novelty of sound over the course of the night. And just like with the Time Traveler's Ball, we have some glam rock, we have some 80s, we have some 90s and modern stuff, and all loop it back around. And the fun is in setting aside two things next to each other. So, for example, one of the things that I associated with Cyberpunk way back in the day was Duran Duran, with like early new wave pop that was very futuristic, because they had that or 80s Tokyo kind of vibe, where it was like, Tokyo felt like the future in the 80s, right? And Japan
Yeah.
felt like the future. And so, we had Akira, and obviously Blade Runner was highly influenced. The look of Blade Runner was highly influenced by
But sound design for Blade Runner as well. I had to write a
absolutely.
report on the
Yeah.
sound of Blade Runner, cities
Yeah.
at night, and just how the chase scene is so much more real, and
Yeah.
everything is because of the
Well,
sounds they use.
So this is really interesting. But the thing that pops into my mind is, can you dance to it?
Well, yes, of course. So that's
certainly.
that Duran Duran stuff that I'm talking about, like Planet Earth, really groovy stuff, very danceable. All of that industrial stuff was
Yeah.
it lived in clubs. It lived in Man Ray and Axis, and in the industrial and dance clubs. So it's very, very rhythmic, and that's that's one of the chief criteria, right? When I select something.
So if I was somebody who was watching this podcast, and I was thinking that, what am I doing on Valentine's Day? And I've got my partner that I think I want to go out and, get, kick out some jams. I don't know if people still kick out jams, but back in the day, I used to kick out my jams.
I have the answer for this one. Yes, I have the answer for this one. I know why you should come to the Cyberpunk Sweethearts Ball. Above all else, this year I'm hoping for a 50% dance floor, 50% gaming section, where we're going to have an arcade. We're going to have
that's why don't we take a look at some of the behind the scenes stuff that you've given our director Mark Sherwood about the things that you're working on to kind of like dress up the environment. And as he shows them, why don't you explain them what they are?
Oh, well, we've got a lot of cool stuff we're going to have, including kind of humans playing Pong with an actual arcade. We're going to put tape on the floor. And this right here is something I built. This is an infinity mirror, which is pretty cool. There we go. It takes some reflective film and some lights, and you can put things in there. They'll be reflected into the distance. Black lights are my new favorite thing.
You mentioned something about arcade because you're building something there in the back, I see.
I am building our very own arcade. Here it is. Yes. Ooh. And we've got the black light version of that. This party is going to glow.
Yeah, great.
For sure. Yeah, I've actually had a lot of fun with these. It's all your favorite games. All the classics.
So we're going to have music. We're going to have games. I know that we're going to have pizza because I just got that deal today. So that's
Don't
fine.
forget Technomancer.
and Technomancer,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to have, so I mean, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Am I deluding myself?
No, I think that's a good instinct. Yeah.
All right, good. Well, I can tell you the other thing that we're working on is bringing in filmmakers and stuff like that to attend, so that we've got the celebrities from the festival that hopefully are going to be there, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But I thought we'd take another clip of a movie, and this is one of the newer films that came out. It's called Upgrade. It's by the people that were behind Saw, and I think some other film that I can't remember right now. But here's a clip from Upgrade, a science fiction film about a man who gets an implant.
Come here! Come here to rip me off, huh? Wait, it's you. I don't know how you found me, but you shouldn't be here. You killed my wife. No, I didn't do that. That was someone else. Doesn't matter!
You'll need to be a little faster than that.
Why are you making me do this?
Let me know if you need my help, Gray.
Stop! Help!
I need your permission to operate independently.
Permission granted!
Thank you.
Okay, Stem, what are we doing, man?
Just relax.
Oh, God, dear! Oh, look, man, stay down, please. Please don't get up. Please don't get up. Please. Stay down, man.
All right, so what I love about this film is there are a lot of things I like about the film, but I love the fact that if you call on somebody or something inside of yourself, you all of a sudden can do things that you couldn't do before. And
Right.
I find that intensely amusing, and I think that's one of the reasons I like Upgrade, which
It
I
was extra fun that he had to agree to the terms of service and give permission
Right.
before they could actually.
Absolutely. And so, but when we look at the marathon this year, I mean, so our bookend event is the Cyberpunk Ball at the opening, and for our in-person closing event, it's called the Marathon, which is a 24-hour binge watch. And we've got 4 films in there. Not only do we have The Matrix and Upgrade, but we'll also have Dread, the Carl Urban version of that, and Ready Player One, which is also considered a cyberpunk film, and very, very pop culture kind of stuff. But I wanted to talk a little bit about, we're trying to also bring in a lot of filmmakers, because I really would love, if anyone's a filmmaker, by all means contact us. We'll probably give you a discount if you want to come to the Cyberpunk Ball. But one of the people that we will have is a director from England called Lisa Downs, who, what I like about Lisa is she takes 80s films and she follows up on them. She did one that we played a couple years ago called Life After Flash, which is about Flash Gordon. Now she's coming back with a double feature, Life After the Navigator, which I don't know if you remember that film. It was a cult kids film. And then the other one is Life After the Never-Ending Story. And here is a clip of Lisa Downs, who will be at our event on Wednesday, the 14th, the Cyberpunk Sweethearts Ball, talking a little bit about Life After the Never-Ending Story.
My name is Lisa Downs. I am director, producer, and editor of the Life After Movies feature documentaries. If you love the 80s, if you love nostalgia, please come on board and join my latest documentary, the third in the series, Life After the Never-Ending Story, which celebrates the iconic 1984 classic, The Never-Ending Story.
And
Awesome.
one of the things that I talked to you guys a little bit about, I'm like 85% sure this was going to happen, but the young woman who played the Queen in The Never-Ending Story will be attending the festival along with Lisa Downs. So we'll have a couple of other guests coming there. So Richard, you mentioned it a little bit earlier, and you mentioned that there is something that might be happening, that you're going to try to keep the malfeasance at bay.
Well, just based on past experience with these things, last year at the Time Travelers Ball, as Jackie mentioned, we had the Dalek come and stir things up, and I just want to be safe. I think Jackie, do you know anything that we might
Well,
want to be concerned
I
with,
do
or that
know
people
that
want to know about
I've
going into
got
this?
a very special helper for you. Very
Oh,
special helper.
oh, great!
This is your new AI assistant, and they're going to help you out with all
Oh,
of your DJ needs.
that's great. Okay, so I was nervous that something might happen,
I
but
can't think
this
of
is.
anything that could go wrong there, though.
I feel so safe now.
Really?
There is.
Cyberpunk and
You
AI
need to
just
put on one of those
partners.
white suits and pretend that you're a scientist and say in a straight face, "Science is not going to destroy this." Richard, I think you're absolutely right. You have to
Amateur
be wary.
science.
I see doom written all over this.
Really? See, I feel so much safer. I guess that's the big debate right now, right? With AI, is
Yeah.
like some people feel much safer. Some people feel like it might
If
not be a good
Google
idea.
has all of your data. It's just safer that way.
I actually tend to fall into the fact is that if I really wanted to feel safe and to think that the world would be at a better place, I would definitely give it over to the AI rather than the politicians that are running this
Right,
country.
right. Yeah. It's the only thing that I'm worried about is that the AI were created by humans. If the AI
And,
were created by anybody else, I'd feel much safer.
yeah, the AI is created with the same bias as the people who created it.
Yeah. Like if kitty cats created AI, that would be amazing.
But if Twitter creates the
Oh,
AI,
no. I have a cat that keeps me up at night. That's not going to work.
yeah, no, it's
Well, I mean, you give and you get. It's a trade off.
Well, I'm not sure I want the trade-off. I just love the idea that I think AI is going to have a play in the Cyberpunk Sweethearts Ball on February 14th.
Oh, for
And I
sure,
mean,
yeah.
and I think it's a good. And but Richard, how would you integrate an AI overlord controlling your DJ table?
Well, just like we're doing with AI now in our modern culture, I'm going to let it do some of the things that I'd rather not do. Maybe pick some song selections. I'll just sit back and let things happen. I think that's probably the best way to go.
And Jackie, as the creative director and event producer, are you going to allow this to happen?
I mean, I am the creator of this AI.
Oh, you are the
mad
creator.
scientist behind this, if you will. So I think
no cats involved in this, just you.
Sounds like you're the voice of
it's
reason
me.
here, Garen. You're the lone voice of reason.
Hey, this is going to be an AI of perfect logic. Don't worry. It's
Wonderful.
Yeah.
What
I
could
had
you
to throw out the 3 laws of robotics, though. I couldn't fit those.
Right. Yeah, limited amount of code to work with.
Yeah.
I don't think AI adheres to the Asimov's.
I think that's one of the problems. We don't use rules when we make these AIs and set them loose on the world. We need to set parameters for our programs.
Well, is there anything else we need to talk about before we wrap this up and move on with our day? Now, what's the final word, Sir Richard? You are the DJ. You're the master of the music. What do you say to the people who are listening to this about coming to our event?
Well, here's my pitch, and I believe in it 110%, which is we are making an environment that, because Cyberpunk, the main thing Cyberpunk is it's cool. Cyberpunk is cool. So if you come here to the event, come in your coolest Cyberpunk gear. Come feeling cool. You're gonna feel cool as soon as you step into those black lights and you hang out. You kind of coolly survey things. Wear your sunglasses if you want to, and be ready. We're gonna lay down some cool tracks for you. We're gonna lay down some cool vibes. We're gonna have some cool fun with Technomancer and games and our helpful AI. It's gonna be a great night, and it's gonna be aesthetically just beautiful to just hang out and bathe in. And if you're bringing,
the Crystal Ballroom is always beautiful, and
it is always beautiful.
Take it up a notch.
Yeah, bring your special love and be prepared to be cool.
Or your
together,
favorite robot.
or your favorite robot. Get platonic, whatever. However you choose, it's going to be a great time. I'm like so psyched to do it. I'm so glad that we're doing it again together in this theme, which I'm so nerding out 24/7 putting this playlist together. So I'm very excited for it.
All right, Jack, your turn. What's your pitch to people to come down and enjoy themselves? With
we are going to party like it's SciFi 49. It is the 49th year of Boston Sci-Fi. This is the kickoff event. You're going to want to be there. We are going to have glow and party, and we are going to keep the beats going all night long. So we really hope that you'll come and join us and celebrate Valentine's Day.
Yeah. For me, it's like, I can't believe that we've got, Sir Richard doing the music and Jackie doing the event direction. I think it's going to be great. We've got Dragon Pizza supplying us with pizza.
Oh, can't wait.
It's in the Crystal Ballroom, which is a great place to dance and have a good time. And we're also going to have a lot of filmmakers, local filmmakers there. Women in Film and Video New England are helping to sponsor this. And there's Mark just put up the plug for it, and it's really well priced at only $20 a pop. And one of the special guests that we're going to be bringing is a guy by the name of James Ward Griffith. Now, for someone like who makes sci-fi films, I love his first film, which was called Coherence. It came out in 2013. It was a really big cult hit. It took everyone by surprise. And he literally called us up about 6 weeks ago, says, I've got a new film. Would you guys like to do the U.S. theatrical premiere of that? And we were so honored. And so we're bringing him out, and he's going to be at the festival. He's opening his film up on that night. And then everyone is going to be coming up to the ball afterwards. And as we close out, we want to show you the new trailer for Shatterbelt. And remember, our ball is February 14th, starts at 7:30, Crystal Ballroom. Sir Richard is doing the music. Jackie is doing all the great event work. It's going to be an awesome time, and we invite everyone down. Here's our closing trailer of Shatterbelt, which premieres that same night.
So, kitchen this way?
Yeah.
It's just you here today.
Me and my husband, Carl. He's just fixing something up.